It's time for more Trails in the Sky! But this time, we're talking gameplay. With a change in battle system comes a change in character strength. Support abilities, new artifacts, enhanced crafts, hell, sometimes even new crafts entirely. Times have changed, and it shows. And as I worked my way through the new and improved Liberal, I thought to myself, wow, some of these characters feel a lot stronger than they used to be. Still. And so, in this video, we'll be breaking down each and every playable character and what they can contribute to combat. Put them in direct comparison to not only their peers, but also their older counterparts, and rank them from least improved to most, to see who in the end got the biggest glow up in Trails in the Sky first chapter. Starting with Olivier. Now, being at the bottom doesn't mean the character is bad by any means. Olivier is still the absolute best caster by a country mile. He was strong at FC and retains that strength in Sky First, but he didn't really need a buff to help him catch up to the rest of the cast. At the end of the day, you'll still be slotting him into your endgame team. Let's start by looking at what's new. Sky First brings back a mechanic from the Cold Steel games called support abilities for each and every character. These abilities range from performing finishing blows to protecting allies and even granting buffs to the party. These abilities are very busted and don't even have a low activation rate. You'll be seeing these things all the time over the course of every battle. So we'll not only take into consideration the buffs from moveset changes for the Skycast, but also which support abilities they were lucky enough to receive in this game when weighing their glow-ups. In addition, most support abilities have two levels, a base version and an upgraded version. We'll be looking at the upgraded versions only for the sake of brevity. Suffice it to say, Olivier comes with a very powerful and offensive set of support abilities. Craft Boost increases the potency of any ally's crafts by 30%, and extends any buffs they might grant by one turn. He also gets Art Boost, which has the same effect but for arts instead. Cruel Blow lands a finishing blow on a low HP enemy. And every character also comes with a unique support ability that can grant buffs or healing effects to themselves whenever they take an action. Olivier's is Magnificent Harmony, which will restore 20% of his EP, grant 30 CP, and gradually restore EP for 4 turns. With all of these abilities at his disposal, Olivier will help your team make quick work of any enemy. An entirely brand new mechanic, Overdrive, is also in Sky First. It's a pretty inconsistent way of buffing stats as it happens whenever, I guess, but it is a powerful tool that will grant characters the ability to bust out big numbers on the board. Overdrive is similar to the Hollow Cores of the Daybreak games, where these boosts are temporary, they'll only be in effect for 2 turns, and you'll have to wait a bit for them to reactivate. Everyone comes with the base overdrive effect of removing their current debuffs, gaining debuff immunity, 100% accuracy, and 30% crit and art crit rate. Olivier's unique overdrive, Wind of Freedom, grants art attack and speed increases at 9%, strength at 6%, and 3 movement. Remember, this guy's at the bottom of the list, it only gets more absurd. I think it's fair to say Olivier was decked out with amazing support abilities and overdrive effects. He's great at enabling already powerful offensive characters like Joshua or Chloe, but can hold his own with increased casting speed and power. And we haven't even taken a look at his crafts yet. His first craft, Quick Draw, had a small buff to its effect radius as well as causing art attack and art defense down. His Impede craft, Sniper Shot, has now become magic based as well as having a 50% chance to cause mute, with a back bonus as the cherry on top. Finally, Happy Trigger heals for 25% of your allies' HP instead of just a flat 800. With an increased radius as well as a cleansing effect to get rid of debuffs, it becomes the perfect quick heal when things start to go south. His S-Craft Howling Bullet now hits the entire field and has become magic-based, which was sorely needed. Having a good selection of magic-based crafts to complement his already high magic stat gives Olivier a bit of variety in the way you can play him. But again, this is only the start of the list. Despite him gaining a ton of new tools, I wouldn't say Olivier has gotten the largest buffs comparatively speaking. Next up is Teeters. In Sky FC, Tita was trash. low HP, low EP, a terrible orbment, and 1 good craft. For mobs, I love her to death, but when it comes to battle, I need her as far away from me as possible. Thankfully, Skyfirst has definitely improved her for the better, somewhat. Her support abilities all reinforce this sort of utility role Tita wants to perform now. As for her abilities, first is Resurgence, which heals an ally for 10% of their HP and grants 75 CP when they die once per battle. Item Boost increases the healing of items by 15%, as well as extending any buffs granted by 1 turn. She has both levels of Item Boost, but there seems to be a typo in the skill effect as they are the exact same. Most skills double the effect when they're at level 2, so I want to say Item Boost 2 is actually 30%, but I can't be sure. If anyone else has tested or knows what's up with the Item Boost, let me know in the comments. Some characters only come with the first level of certain abilities, and in Tita's case, she has First Aid as opposed to First Aid EX. The base version heals 15% of an ally's HP when they're attacked. Her unique ability is Self-Maintenance, which recovers 20% of Tita's EP and CP, cures her debuffs, and grants debuff immunity for 4 turns. Most of her support abilities are extremely nice, Resurgence especially since it can be a safety net for some of the surprise bosses in this game. I just wish Self-Maintenance didn't have that EP restore effect and went toward another stat like her Strength, because literally no one is using Tita as a caster. Also, debuff immunity isn't that impressive considering everyone has it built into the overdrive mechanic. Speaking of, her overdrive Pure Curiosity grants all stats besides movement an increase of 6%, which is pretty nice I suppose. Considering Tita is coming up from basically nothing in FC, her abilities give a bit more of a solidified identity as a support character. As for her crafts, her bread and butter is the Smoke Cannon. It got a buff to its radius, and instead of only causing blindness, it now has a 50% chance to additionally inflict burn. Vital Cannon got a big buff from only healing 500 HP to allies, to now healing 30%, granting 30 CP, and removing debuffs. She makes a pretty good craft point battery, and can let your more aggressive party members keep momentum with spamming their crafts. Thinking about it now, it's actually kinda cute. She pairs well with Agate, who's usually draining his HP to keep his craft points up. She gets a brand new craft in Jamming Ray, which is very interesting in the fact that it's not only magically based, but also an impede, can steal turn bonuses, and has all cancel, one of the best effects in the series. So not only can she now impede enemies, which is huge in and of itself, she can strip them of their buffs. If Anti-Sept didn't get the absurd buff to also have all cancel, we'd have to give Tita a gold medal for this craft alone. Cannon Impulse, her S craft, got a strange change. It's marginally better for the fact that it causes strength down, but it hits in a line rather than a circle now. Granted, it's a wide line, so maybe that makes up for the change in shape. Tita has gotten the help she's needed, especially in the craft department, to give her a role in battle, but still, she's far from the most improved. So let's move on to the next character. Next up is Joshua.
You did it, Estelle.
Joshua was always an amazing character, probably even the best considering how party members are often cycled in and out in the Sky games. But somehow they made him even better. For abilities, he gets Cruel Blow, First Aid, and Safeguard. Safeguard protects an ally from an attack, cuts the damage you would take by 90%, and grants a guarantee to survive at 1 HP if the attack would kill you. Considering how the game starts with only Estelle and Joshua and there are varying points where it returns to just the 2 of them, having defensive support abilities like these is a godsend. His unique ability is Lightning Speed, which grants Joshua 40 CP and increases his speed for 4 turns. And remember, this can activate after any turn he takes. Just a free CP regen and speed boost every time he attacks. Did anyone proofread these abilities or? Joshua's Overdrive, Quick Raid, increases strength and speed by 10%, art attack by 5%, and grants 5 movement. So he's got a great balance of defensive support abilities to keep his party alive, and the perfect unique ability in Overdrive for him to take multiple turns and deal incredible damage. These abilities alone are enough to be considered a major buff for Joshua, who really didn't need one in the first place. As for his crafts, Dual Strike can now hit in a small circle area instead of just one target, gains the impede effect, and has a back bonus. Flicker, enough said. Still delays and has become a stronger craft for the fact that delay can steal bonuses in this game. He actually lost a craft in the form of Taunt, and his next one becomes Cloak and Dagger. It still has a death blow effect, but now it inflicts heavy stun damage as well as causing defense and arc defense to go down. Evil Eye can now inflict confusion and is magically based, which I don't believe was the case before. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. He comes with 2 S-crafts, the first being Sever, which has all cancel and impede, but it's still single target. His second S-craft, Black Fang, however, is much better in the fact that it has a heavy delay effect and the chance for death blow. Overall, Joshua has gotten great improvements to his offense and ability to keep the team alive. With a change in how delay steals turn bonuses now too, and his plethora of delay crafts, I'd be hard pressed not to consider him the strongest character in the game. Next up is Close. One of my personal favorite Sky characters, Chloe was another top tier OG like Joshua and Olivier. Fulfilling the healer role to a T, her support abilities double down on giving her the best healing and magic capabilities. She comes with Resurgence, Item Boost 1, and First Aid EX, which heals an ally for 25% of their HP when attacked. Her unique ability, Unparalleled Focus, recovers 20% of her EP and grants Art Attack up for 4 turns. Her Overdrive, White Wing, grants her Art Attack and Art Defense up by 10% as well as a 5% increase to Strength. With Resurgence and First Aid keeping the party healthy, Chloe is able to take advantage of her absurdly high magic stat to deal major arts damage. Her abilities are all well and good, but I feel like her crafts got the most love in this game. Camphor was one of the reasons Chloe was the king of FC. It's still okay in this game, but nothing will ever top Sieg at his peak. It got a slight buff in the fact it hits in a line rather than just being a single target move. It also has a side attack bonus, but the problem of course is in the form of the strength and defense debuff Sieg causes. It doesn't last nearly as long or debuff them as heavily as it once did. I realize this is for balancing reasons, but it's still an advantage Chloe loses in this remake. What she did gain, however, were 2 pretty big buffs. Her Sturmcraft is no longer a single target impede. Now it's a magic based attack that hits in a small circle with the ability to cause delay and freeze to its targets. Usually I'd say losing an impede craft would be a downgrade, but this thing came in handy way more often. It might hit in a small area, but it's fairly easy to group enemies up in this game, and causing delay on more than one target is never a bad thing. The added freeze effect also helped in many situations. An enemy that can't move is the best enemy to fight after all. Her last craft is a new one called Vice Aura. It targets a large circle around herself to grant HP regen, foresight, and debuff removal. This is the absolute perfect craft for Chloe, as it lightens her healing duty and gives her more opportunities to do what she was born to do: cause absolute destruction. Vice Aura is expressly why I'd put her above Beast like Joshua, as it finally adds some utility to her very limited craft pool from the original. Like yes, Camphor was busted, but it was kind of the only craft that was good too. Her role on the team feels more fleshed out and frankly fun to play in this version. Lastly, her S-craft Lietkreis now targets the entire field, heals for full HP, and instead of adding a defense buff when used at 200 CP, it grants a 1500 HP shield. I'd rather have the defense, but considering you usually want to avoid using this S-craft at all, it's not the biggest loss. I would consider Chloe the first character to have a significant glow up, as her new additions complement and reinforce her playstyle while patching up her glaring weaknesses. Chloe feels like a balanced and rewarding character to utilize in combat. Next up is Zane.
Hey, over here! What, you yella?
Zin's entire kit has gotten a rework in a way I think fits him perfectly. He's more similar to his Daybreak iteration, but definitely comes with more tools that make him feel like a Swiss Army knife of a character. The first unique thing about Zin is he not only has the most support abilities, but they are also all at their highest level. He comes with Safeguard, Cruel Blow, Craft Boost, Resurgence, and Counter Blow. Counter Blow is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You'll perform a basic counter attack whenever an ally gets hit. His personal ability, Immovable How the fuck do you say that? His personal ability, Immovable Pranayama, grants him 50 CP as well as defense and arc defense up for 4 turns. His Overdrive Unwavering Spirit improves strength, defense, and arc defense by 12%. Right off the bat, they gave him quite a bit of respect with his abilities and overdrive. Xin won't be dying anytime soon. He's basically immovable.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
As one of the highest ranked bracers we come to meet over the course of the story, it's awesome how that reflects in his skill set. Xin clearly wants to be a tank for the team, protecting frailer combatants while enabling them to deal more damage with stuff like Craft Boost. All of his crafts got a rework in this game. First is a Daybreak craft, Heralding Fist. It hits in a small circle, causes delay, and has a back bonus. The Sable was an S-craft in the original that got repurposed into a regular craft. It hits in a medium circle, and inflicts heavy stun. Distend got a buff in the fact that it now removes his debuffs and maxes his strength and defense. Composure becomes a revival craft, the only one outside of Chloe's S-craft in fact, that heals for 35% and can remove debuffs. Strangely, it's missing the status effect removal from the original game, but I think the trade-off of it reviving now more than makes up for it. Funnily enough, the first craft he learns has become the last one in this game with Taunt. So this is where all the taunt went in this game. Xin came and stole Estelle and Joshua's whole flow, but he utilizes it much better, with it now causing a defense debuff to the enemies he hits with it. His S-craft, Oral Blast, gets a radius change similar to Teeters, and now causes extreme stun damage and a 60% chance to seal the enemy. Xin does lose one craft in exchange for monopolizing the taunt market. Smite. Yeah, he's not missing that one. Single target with a confused chance? No thank you. One of the biggest problems Xin had in Sky FC was his lackluster orbment line and crafts. He was a tank, sure, but he couldn't really deal any significant damage or hit more than one enemy outside of his S-craft. He still holds similar problems in this game as his damaging crafts don't hit in the largest areas, but the fact that they're all at least somewhat AoE really helps him. Not only that, with Immovable Pranayama, Distend, and Taunt giving him amazing buffs, he's able to handle almost any enemy one-on-one. Xin might be up here a bit too high for some people, but I believe he became not only a better unit to use, but one that is way more fun too. It feels like all his crafts flow together perfectly to replicate a martial arts master utilizing years of experience to overwhelm his opponent. Which he is, so it works. We love Xin now. Next up is Charizard. Alright, let's speed run through her abilities because they literally don't matter. We're here for one thing. She has Art Boost, Counter Blow, and First Aid. Her unique skill, Wheel of Fortune, grants Charizard 30 CP and all stats up for 4 turns. Okay, that actually is pretty good. Her Overdrive, Streak of Silver, grants Strength and Art Attack up by 9%, Speed by 6%, and 3 Movement. Cool. Heaven's Kiss. Not much changed about Shara, but the timing for when you get Heaven's Kiss has made her an absurdly strong character. Heaven's Kiss hits allies in a large circle with a strength and speed buff, 15 CP, and the ability to act immediately. Before, she would learn this craft at level 30. In this game, she gets it at level 16, well before the end of chapter 1. For the sake of keeping things consistent, we'll go over her other crafts, which honestly aren't bad, but Heaven's Kiss is the real reason to slot her into your team. Sylphin Whip is now a magic craft that hits in a large fan area with a speed and movement debuff that additionally inflicts delay. Bind Whip is still an impede craft that can now seal and has a side attack bonus. Her S-craft, Sadist Whip, is now AoE and causes delay and speed debuffs to the targets. This is actually one of the bigger buffs she received alongside Heaven's Kiss. Single target S-crafts are usually never worth it. Shara was always okay in FC by having a respectable orbit line and just being generally stronger than Estelle and Joshua when you get her. And of course Heaven's Kiss is just as good, albeit without the buffs, and you get it much later, but the turn acceleration is always powerful. With the added effects of Heaven's Kiss as well as getting it as early as you do, I think Charizard has gotten more than enough special treatment to be considered a heavy glow up. And she's hot. Next up is Esteru. Straight up, Estelle fucking sucked in the original. I was heavily debating putting her at number 1, and honestly, I think she could be if I gave this list a bit more thought, but in the end, she's a very close second because did they ever give her the buff she so sorely deserved? She comes with a nice assortment of offensive support abilities, starting with Cruel Blow and Counter Blow. The extremely clutch Resurgence ability has made its way into her arsenal, and her unique ability Dauntless Courage can refund her 40 CP and 4 turns of strength up. Clearly they were trying to retool Estelle into more of a craft-heavy physical attacker, similar to her later appearances in the series. Her Overdrive Brave Heart doubles down on her newfound strength with a 10% increase to strength and defense, and 5% art boost, for some reason. Regardless, Estelle already got a great start with her support buffs, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. I believe all her crafts got a gigantic improvement. First, Morale. Hits the entire field, gives strength and defense buffs, and CP regen. Do I need to say anything else? It's amazing. Hurricane. Hits in a large circle, side bonus, strength debuff. Very helpful in the early game when everything can kill you in like 2 hits. Comet. Magic-based impede in Turnstile that hits in a cone shape. Nice variety for the enemies you can't use physical attacks on. Hard Break. Single target, heavy stun, chance to seal, and speed debuff. Big stick goes boom. Like Joshua, she comes with 2 S-crafts, the first being Pummel, which can now hit in a medium-sized circle, and has a 50% chance to seal the target. Her second S-craft, Barrage, is a much smaller circle, it's basically single target, but now can inflict extreme stun. Now you have to remember, 4 out of these 6 crafts had no added effects originally. They were just there. This is why Estelle was usually relegated as an art support user. There was like nothing she could do before, except Earthwall, but pretty much anyone can do that. Now look at her. You go, Estelle. Trails in the Sky FC was an arts-based game. Arts users ruled uncontested as the likes of Joshua and Olivier spammed their white Gehenna. Poor old Agate had no place to belong, no utility, a terrible orbment for arts, and just found in the wrong game at the wrong time. But now he's in the right game, and at the right time, where crafts reign supreme. Yell, Agate-san, with your wild rage that will let you continuously beat down on your enemies until they finally break. Go, Agate-san, and move forward, relentlessly, with Shera keeping you fueled by the crack of her whip. Stand tall, Agate-san, for this game has so many buffs for you to consume, and ways to keep your CP at an all-time high. Spam, Agate-san, for your S-breaks will go down in history. Yeah, Agate's pretty good in this game. Agate, what the hell is an Art Krosner, can finally be taken seriously in his debut game. Similarly to Estelle, he's gotten new effects for pretty much every craft on top of being blessed with one of the best unique support abilities. He comes with Counter Blow, Safeguard, and Cruel Blow. His unique skill, Heat Up, grants him 40 CP and CP regen for 4 turns. His Overdrive, Fierce Heavy Blade, increases strength by 15%. They played him very straightforward with his abilities. Agate loves strength and only wants strength. His first and most important craft, Wild Rage, has gotten much better, as he trades 20% of his HP for 60 CP, as well as a strength buff. On its own, this would be great, but in a game like Sky First, where regaining CP is easy, and him having an innate 40 CP gain just for taking an action, Agate is Baby's first S-craft spam bot. And this is before accessories like Gladiator belts or buffs like Heaven's Kiss. Agate is an engine that will never run out of fuel. His second craft, Flame Smash, hits in a larger fan area with a chance for burn and a side attack bonus. Draguna Edge is now a magical attack for the rare instances physical attacks have no effect, as well as being an impede. And Beatdown, his former S-craft, is now just a regular craft that hits in a small circle, causes delay, and debuffs the enemy's defense. His only S-Craft, Final Break, hits in an extra large circle with a 60% chance to inflict burn. He lost one craft in the form of Spiral Edge, but the delay effect has found its way to Beatdown instead. The combination of all these support abilities, Overdrive, chain attacks, other characters having strong supportive skills, and Agate's kit, which prioritizes high CP and attack, lets him stand as the new king of Trails in the Sky, first chapter. In a game that rewards speed and aggression, it's only fitting Agate would find himself at the top. Stand proud, Agate-san, for you are strong. And that's my list. It was actually really fun making this, and I'm thinking of continuing this idea with other Trails games in the future. Maybe not a game like Reverie, but the smaller cast like Zero or maybe even Daybreak 1 are on the table. Since Trails is a single player experience, character strength doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Plus these games are easy as fuck, but I find it exciting to discuss and compare the differences. It offers a new avenue of character discussion that isn't just which girl Reed should have 20 children with. Let me know in the comments which characters you felt had the largest attention to detail in this game, or even just which was your favorite to use in general. I probably won't be touching any Sky related games for a while. But with Horizon just beyond the horizon, keep an eye out for more Trail stuff from me in the future. But until then, peace out.